Hello and welcome to this short video tutorial about the personal development planner tool of the OpenScout project. When you open the OpenScout homepage, portal page, you see a couple of tabs on the top. If you go to tools, you will see the PDP tool or personal development planner on the right hand side, and you can open it from this link. It will ask you to log in because this is a personal tool. So I'm going to do this now. And once you're authenticated, the PDP tool will open. The first page you get to is actually a description page that introduces you to the tool and what it does. Basically, the personal development planner is to help you organize the learning resources, the open educational learning resources that OpenScout provides in the area of business and management studies to organize your own learning and competence development. That is basically you are identifying your competences as they are now, then you specify target competences that you want to achieve, and the tool will create a gap analysis between the two states and will suggest learning resources to you, along which you can select and choose, and which you can then add to a to-do list. So to get this started, you should do a self-assessment test where you specify the competences that you currently have and the areas where they are currently in. I have already entered the area of project management with two competences that I claim myself, that I perceive myself to have. That is the competence in project communication and stakeholder analysis. And in the graph you can see at which level these competences are situated at the moment, where the project communication competence I perceive as having very high competence levels, whereas in stakeholder analysis I rate myself rather low. I can also add further competences to this by clicking on that link, the button here, and specify an area that I want to associate to my competence portfolio. So I've already got project management in there. I will add management information systems as an area of expertise, and the competences that are located in this subdomain. We have information management, information technology strategy, which is the competence that I have, and there in this with these sliders you can identify to which level your competences you feel that you have competences. The numbers equate to these simple settings, that numbers 1 and 2 equate to basic knowledge, 3 to 5 to intermediate knowledge, and 6 to 8 to advanced knowledge. So for myself, I want to identify my my knowledge levels, my competence levels in information technology strategies at about lower intermediate rate. I can add this now, and it is now located here. If you make a mistake, just delete the item by clicking on the delete button here, and you can of course add more competences, as many as you like. The next step then includes selecting a competence profile that you want to learn about, and here we find already preset ones, competence profiles that relate to, for example, job descriptions, business development manager, marketing manager, business controller, how to become a good manager or CEO. This is all too business oriented for myself. I want to develop my IT strategy competencies, so I have the opportunity of creating my own competence profile here. I call this now my IT competence profile, and I add a description here. So the improved competences I want to learn about, this description, and then I can add a classification, so that is the competencies that I want to achieve. I can add several, but in my case I only want to improve my skills on management and information systems, in the competence of information technology strategies. And because I've got level 2 to 4, I want to have resources that are not too difficult, within reach, but also not too easy, and I add that to the profile. After I've given this target profile where my learning goals are specified, after I've completed that, I click on the publish button. System confirms that this has been published, and then I return to select the competence profile for actual studying. So here in the list, apart from the previous ones, and there are more when you click on the next button, I can now find my own defined competence target profile. In order to select the profile that you want to study for, you click on find out more, and then the system gives you information about the profile. In this case, this is what I typed in earlier, but you will find that in the how to become a good marketing manager, you will have a different and more elaborate description perhaps, and these are the competences that that relate to this particular competence profile. So just to show you how to become a good marketing manager, you see there's a slightly longer description, and there's more competences that are connected to this job profile. I can close this now and go back to my IT competence profile that I want to study for, and I click then the select button. It allows me, the system notifies me what to do next. It allows me then to set my next steps, but it also shows here which profile I am learning for. So this is always, you can have several of your own profiles, or the official profiles that you want to, curricula if you like, that you want to follow, and you can switch them at any time you log in. You can change this to other learning paths that you want to follow. Like I could still select this one now, then that will change my selected profile for this learning session that I'm attempting now, or I can go back to the one that I want to study right now. The system will remember the choices you have taken within the profiles that you have selected. The next step therefore is the gap analysis. So I have defined my perceived competencies of where they are now. I have defined my learning goals, my learning outcomes that I want to study for, that I want to reach. And the next step therefore is to look at the to-do list, which is the system generated list of resources that it suggests that I would study. For example, in this area I have only one competence that I want to study for, otherwise you would see more entries here. I select that entry, and now OpenScout scans the available resources that have the competence information that is required for me to achieve my goal. It found 13 results. Some of them are in languages that I don't speak, but for example this one is in English, so I would want to find out more about this. I can then look at the OpenScout description, or I can go even directly to that page. By clicking the View Now link, which would open the resource in a new window. In this case it's a PDF file, so I'm not going to bother. In any case, I can add the resource to my to-do list. It asks me for confirmation, and we'll see in a moment what that does. Same here, this is also network security, looks also like an interesting resource. So after I found out more and I looked at the resource, I also want to add that to my to-do list. After I've gone through the entire list of documents that are suggested, or learning resources that have been suggested to me, some I might not be finding so interesting if I don't understand it, but I can collect and organize all the learning resources that I believe will help me achieve my competence targets, my competence goals, and they are the system ensures that these are in the right at the right level of complexity and in the right competences. So after selecting a couple of items, I can go now to my to-do list, and here I find the selected items. I can select an item by clicking on it, highlighting it this way, find here the information again, and I can view that resource again. So sorry, this is again the PDF file. So perhaps choose the other option, the other item that I've selected. When I click on View Now, it opens the resource in a new window. In this case, this is an entire short course. If I think that this is not a suitable resource, I can always remove it from the list by clicking this Remove link, and then that will remove it from my to-do list. But I can also mark it as read once I am done with it. And that's really all there is to it. You can see now that I've marked that resource as read. It is ticked off here, so I can at any time see which resources I still have to go through. You can have a list, a very long list, depending on your preferences. And so you can work item by item through your list to organize your learning. Ideally, a suggestion would be that at the end of reading through the documents that should help you to improve on your competencies, you go back to the self-assessment panel and check how you feel about this learning process, whether you feel that you have made sufficient progress. Okay, thank you for watching this short tutorial.